one of you who is in that live chat already, been chatting and been doing all the things needed to push the algorithm to get this viewed by as many people as we can. The animals need us all. You guys are absolute legends, and from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very, very much. A disclaimer right now. We're here today to exercise our right to freedom of speech here in the UK, our assembly to protest. We are not here to cause alarm, harassment or distress or any intimidation. This is going to stay lawful, it remains lawful, and our intentions are for this to be lawful. So today, where are we? We're at a slaughterhouse, guys. As you're coming in this chat room, I want you to put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. I want you to put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to this conversation and why we're here. And I want you to put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals or if you're anti-vegan. Let us know. Yeah. There we go, we've got some support already. We've got some support already, which is nice to see. We're getting a lot of support at this place right now. A lot of people come by, they see us, we're here regularly, they don't like what happens here. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, guys. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to that conversation. And 3, if you don't care about animals. Now this slaughterhouse today is going to be killing cows. This specifically kills cows from the meat industry and mothers from the dairy industry. This is ABP. Now, as we come around the corner here, this is the approach to the slaughterhouse. You're going to see the camera is already on us. The camera's already pointing down this road now. This is their new setup because we're here so often. They know, there you go. They can see, they know that we're here. And like the title says, we will not stop until they stop killing. This is a slaughterhouse, guys. Let's see what's going on in here right now. Let's see what's going on. Okay, does the layers look open? Let me see, let me see.
So let's have a look, let's have a look. While Steve's doing that, guys, look, cameras are already on us. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat.
Yeah, is open.
It's open? All right, let's put it up.
Guys, what you're about to see right now,
Steve.
This is the layerage of a slaughterhouse. This is inside that slaughterhouse. Now you watch, that roller door's gonna come down potentially now. Let me stand just to this side of you so I can see what's going on. Okay, guys, inside of that roller door, this is where the animals are taken inside here to wait to be executed. This is a slaughterhouse live in the UK right now. Now I anticipate in a short space of time, that roller door will come down because the slaughterhouse don't want people seeing inside. They don't want you seeing the reality. Wow, I've never seen that before. To the right, I can see what almost looks like the shackle lines or hooks running off the ceiling. This place is absolutely disgusting. Guys, as you're coming in, please double tap this screen.
Can we just zoom in a bit more?
Zoom in a bit more. Double tap the screen, guys. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, hit the hearts. Put 1 in the chat if you're vegan. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to the conversation. And 3 if you don't care about animals. Today, if you stay on this live stream for more than 15 minutes, you will leave this live stream with a different perspective on your life. Guys, 1, 2, or 3.
They just shut it now.
They've shut it now.
Yeah.
There you go, guys. Right, now we're going to get the tripod set up. Whilst Mel is setting up the tripod, I'm going to explain to you why they shut that layerage. They shut the layerage because although this industry lies and says that they work off of transparency and they're fully proud of what they do, it's all smoke and mirrors for the consumer because this place doesn't run on transparency. This place runs off of smoke, mirrors and lies. They don't want you to see the reality. They don't want you to see inside. Guys, 1 in the chat if you're vegan. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation. 3 in the chat if you're anti-vegan, if you don't care about animals, if you believe animals are here for you to do whatever you like with.
Just a hello to all the vegans in the room. Yes. Martin, thanks for being here. Owen, Barry, Marissa, some call me Fur. Thank you so much for being in the room.
Hi guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
If you've missed anyone, apologies. Thank you all for being in here. Guys, it makes a huge difference. I truly believe this is why we're managing to get the hundreds of thousands and even millions of views now because of this teamwork. Guys, thank you so much. As you're coming in this live stream, double tap the screen. Please hit the comments and the shares. Please give us a 1 if you're vegan. Put a 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation. 3 if you don't care about animals. Now, we have just descended on this slaughterhouse. This is an ABP slaughterhouse where they kill cows. Behind us, we showed you the layerage. As soon as they knew that we were here, probably under 60 seconds, the layerage was shut. As we come around the corner, they now have the camera here operating. Now, I think that I've worked out their new operating system here, and I'm going to tell you what I think they now do. This is, of course, just my opinion. I could be wrong, but this is what I think that they do. I'm going to tell you in 1 minute. 1 in the chat if you're vegan. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation. And 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Subscribe to this channel and please like.
Yeah, I just seen them take the gate off manual.
They turn the gate off of that. Right, so animals are coming in, guys. When they do that, when that gate goes on to manual, it means that animals will be coming in here today. Now, when I talk about animals, oh my gosh, it smells so bad here. When I talk about animals coming in here today, guys, I'm talking about cows. This slaughterhouse kills cows from the beef industry and cows from the dairy industry. They are two different breeds of cow. The general population will not know this information. The industry will not be transparent and let you know this. Dairy cows are selectively bred to produce so much milk because they're exploited for their secretions. Beef cows are selectively and genetically bred to build so much muscle mass and so much flesh mass because they're exploited for their body parts. There are two different breeds of cows. One in the chat if you're vegan, two in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation, three in the chat if you don't care about animals. Get it in there, guys, let me know.
Someone just said, Steve, about protein, if you can answer that in a second.
Okay, I'm gonna come on to protein in a second. Now, when you look at dairy cows, they have to be forced to be pregnant to hold their babies for 9 months. Then when they give birth to their babies are taken away, whether their babies are born male or female. A dairy mother, a dairy cow, will never spend time with her baby more than potentially one evening if she gives birth late into the evening. The next morning, the farmer will come and they will take her baby away from her. Could you imagine that? If you were a guy with your thumbs up.
I couldn't work it out.
Could you imagine that as a human woman's perspective? If anyone watching this is a mother, imagine the day that you gave birth to your baby, someone takes your baby the next morning to steal your breast milk. And when you can no longer produce as much breast milk as what is deemed profitable by the industry, you find yourself coming through this gate behind me here to have your throat slashed open. One in the chat if you're vegan, two in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation, three in the chat if you don't care about animals. Please double tap the screen. Let's get over 100 likes in here before the first truck of animals arrive. Please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification. We go live outside slaughterhouses all over the UK multiple times a week to show you, the consumer, the truth. Now, someone asked me a minute ago about protein. Where does protein come from? Protein comes from plants. All amino acids can be found in plant sources. Things like tofu have the full amino acid spectrum. Seitan, tempeh, if you want to be healthy, you can get the vegan alternatives like vegan chicken, vegan bacon, vegan burgers, if you just want the taste pleasure and you don't care about your health. But guys, when your body only needs nutrients and you can select the ingredients, do not select the ingredients that scream for their life inside of a slaughterhouse. It's completely unnecessary. There's no justification for it whatsoever. Now, like the disclaimer we said at the beginning of this live stream, a second disclaimer that I want to say is that we are not here today to clash with public. We are not here to point fingers, to call you out, call you bad names and make you feel like you're a bad person because you yet haven't made the decision to be vegan. You just may not know what we know. This is exactly why we're here, to show you the transparency that the industry won't tell you. The industry will never tell you the transparency because if they do, the profit margins drop and therefore they make no money. Guys, one in the chat if you're vegan, two in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation, and three in the chat if you don't care about animals. Now, you may have to put this in more than once. It's easier when we see a spam of ones, twos and threes, so we get an understanding. For your context, guys, this place absolutely stinks. Do you smell that? This is a slaughterhouse. This is a slaughterhouse. People are either open to the message or they're closed off and triggered. Which one are you? Are you a closed off and triggered number three? Are you so selfish that you are triggered? Or are you open-minded to why we're here? You may not be vegan, but you may not know why we're here, what we're doing. So that means you're a number two. You're open to this message, but you're not vegan yet. Now, not everyone was born vegan. We weren't born vegan. But once you know the realities and once you've seen the truth, you can't unsee it. Once you know, you then are accountable for your actions. Right now, you may not have ever been told the truth. And in fact, you wouldn't have just not been told the truth. You'd have been lied to. You'd have had the humane washing and the smoke and mirrors indoctrinated into you from a child. When you're a baby, you're told things like, old MacDonald had a farm. Farmers love their animals. Farms are happy places. You're then told as you grow up, oh, you got to drink your milk for calcium. You got to eat your animals for protein. So you're told that it's humane and necessary. But actually, when you do grow up and you critically think about this issue, you realize that it is not necessary, it's an option. And you realize that it is not humane. In fact, it's far from the truth. When you go inside these places, they are nothing but absolute violent, barbaric execution centers, in my opinion. One in the chat if you're vegan, two in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to this conversation. Three if you don't care about animals.
Rene has now been a member for 1 month. Amazing.
Yay.
And he put, all the trolls don't know veganism is not a diet. Maybe explain what veganism is.
Yeah, exactly. Rene, thank you for your constant support. Renee,
Yes.
you are an absolute legend. 1 in the chat if you're vegan like Renee. 2 in the chat if you are not vegan but you're open to that conversation. And 3 if you don't care about animals. Now, Renee makes such a valid point. Veganism is not a diet. Veganism is an ethical position against the exploitation of animals. Full stop. We don't wear animals. We don't consume animals. We don't test on animals. We don't rip their skin off and make jackets and shoes out of them. We don't bet on them. We honor them for who they are. We realize that they should be morally considered for having the subjective experience of their life that they are having. They are here with us, not for us. So vegans will be against exploiting animals. No horses and carts. None of that.
Someone's just said, I love animals, but I love eating them.
Listen, you're in a position that 99.9% of vegans were in before they went vegan. Every vegan that I know said that exact same sentence. I always loved animals. I couldn't believe it that I was eating them. I ate them because I thought I had to, and I was indoctrinated and conditioned into that humane killing. How can you put the word humane in front of the slaughter and all of a sudden it's all fairy tales and sparkle dust? It's just not. What happens to them inside there is horrific. If you put humane in front of any other injustice, we'd never accept it as a society. But if you're a cow, if you're a pig, if you're a chicken, if you're a lamb, if you're a sheep, apparently, if you put humane in front of the execution, then it's okay. But if you do truly love animals, and if you really are a number 2, which is you're not vegan, but you're open to this conversation and why we're here, then please stay in this live stream. See the animals turning up here today for yourself. Look at them in the eyes as they drive past me and Mel today through these gates to be killed, shot in the face, and have their throats slashed open. And that is for cheese. That is for a beef burger. That is for a yogurt. That is for their breast milk, so you put it in your tea and coffee.
Yeah, I was just going to say this. We've had a few people who said they're vegetarian.
Right, so listen, vegetarian is veganism sold badly. 1 in the chat, guys, if you're vegan. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan. 3 in the chat if you are anti-vegan. Vegans, non-vegans but open, anti-vegans. Double tap that live stream, double tap the screen, hit the hearts, and please subscribe, please like and share. Hit that bell notification. We go to all different slaughterhouses all week. Now listen, you just said that a lot of the chat in here are vegetarian.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, not all, a lot of people go vegetarian because they feel like if I'm not directly eating the animal's flesh, then I'm not responsible for the violence that is put upon them. Now, the reason why you believe that is because it's been missold to you like that. They try and catch you. It's like these are businesses, right? It's a sales pitch. If you're not going to buy my option A, which is all the animal products, then I'll sell you option B, which means I still make some profit out of you. So you're told vegetarian, no exploitation. But listen, the dairy industry and the egg industry are standalone industries. The dairy industry, where they force pregnancies on their mums, take their babies away, kill male calves week to 2 weeks old, put the females in isolation hutches, take the mums off to slaughter when they can no longer produce breast milk. This is the industry that vegetarians support. If you are vegetarian, then I have a duty to tell you today that the animals that will be going inside this slaughterhouse to be executed will be personally for you. Now, if that doesn't sit right, if you're a vegetarian that doesn't sit right with, then you go vegan. And bringing you back to Renee's point earlier, I'll give you an example of a vegetarian. A vegetarian would make a plant-based picnic and they'd go to the zoo and they'd sit there and they'd sit in front of these exploited animals, watching them in these confinements whilst they're eating a plant-based lunch, thinking that they're not causing any harm. Guys, 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation, and 3 if you don't care about animals. I'm just going to repeat myself with number 2s again. We really aren't here to clash with you. Our objective, what we're trying to do today, is really get through to you and show you the transparency that the industry won't show you. They will not tell you this. Guys.
Yeah, we've got it's secrets hard, but I'm 2, but I like animals. We've got a lot of people who's number 2 but like animals.
Yeah, listen, and like I just said, the majority of the world is a number 2 right now. The people who are saying I'm a number 2, I like animals. The majority of the world is, and the reason being, the majority of the world do love animals and they do care. The majority of people do have compassion, but you've been missold this lie. You haven't been shown the truth. How can you ever, as a consumer, make an educated decision when you aren't even told the base level? Everything you are told from a consumer's point of view, the marketing angles and everything that you've been told have been specifically to indoctrinate you into not critically thinking about this issue and to paying for this violence, thinking that it's okay. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, guys. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation. And 3, if you don't care about animals. Hit the double tap on the screen, guys. Please subscribe to this channel. Now, I'm going to give you another example. I'm going to give you another example of how the number 2s are indoctrinated into not questioning what's going on. Has anyone heard of the RSPCA Assured scheme? Has anyone heard of the Red Tractor certification? Red Tractor certification and the RSPCA Assured are 2 schemes that are literally put there to keep the smoke and mirrors in front of the consumer. How can the Royal Society of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals put a stamp of, or was it a certification stamp on piglets at 6 months old that have been put inside of a gas chamber? Did you know that the RSPCA Assured scheme makes a percentage of animals' bodies and secretions sold under the RSPCA Assured logo? Shocking, right? 1 in the chat if you're vegan, guys. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to this conversation. And 3, if you don't care about animals. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, so much propaganda
live outside of a slaughterhouse.
So we got Dr. Scally has put a good question. So if I have some hens who are domesticated and I care for them, what's your opinion about the eggs that they lay?
Okay, so
Thank you
listen.
for your question.
Thank you for your question. We are in the same position. We've rescued hens. We rescued hens from a gas chamber. If you didn't know that at 18 months on average, egg-laying hens, which are a specific breed of hens, different to hens exploited for their bodies, they get sent to a gas chamber because their egg production slows down. Now, when you take them hens and you rescue them and you give them freedom and you give them love, you see them start to come back. But do you know who them eggs are really needed for? The hens. Take the eggs that the hens lay, smash them on the floor, and watch just how desperately them hens will eat their eggs back. 1 in the chat if you're vegan. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation. And 3 if you don't care about animals. And the reason why them hens eat them eggs so fast is because all of them nutrients, the calcium and the nutrients that are used from their body to produce that egg needs to go back. The minute that we view animals as a commodity, the minute that we view animals as a resource, we start to lose the ethics and the values that actually we should hold in our heart. There is no way to do the wrong thing. There's no right way, to do the wrong thing. Their eggs, their bodies, leave them alone, give them back to them.
Yeah, 100%. Renee, thank you so much for your kind super thanks again.
Thank you, Renee.
Renee has put, number 2s might already know that there's no relevant trait difference that justifies treating some animals unfairly. You should ask yourself, what is it that you need to be vegan, and then go for it. 100%.
100%.
Thank you so much, Renee.
100%. And Renee really brings a poignant point. Here, guys, this is inside of a slaughterhouse. What do you think about the FSA breaches that were found back in June 2025 here? What do you think about the breaches? 6 major non-compliances by the FSA. No one ever wants to talk, right? No one ever wants to talk. Again, guys, a transparent industry, an industry that is proud of its transparency and propped up by its reputation. I put a question to them about the FSA breaches. If you don't know who the FSA are, by the way, FSA, the Food Standard Authority, they won't answer. No one asks, no one wants to question, no one wants to talk. This is all smoke and mirrors. Look, cameras, spike fences, CCTV, gates,
security,
cattle grids, shutters. We got the security running the gate. The security will run the gate manually every time a truck comes and a truck leaves. Guys, 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation, 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. We are not here to clash or argue. We are here to enlighten and educate. We want you to see the reality that the industry won't show you, because all the time good people don't know the truth. This keeps happening to the most innocent, vulnerable, childlike beings. Let me give you some facts that you probably didn't even know. Did you know that chickens who are exploited for their bodies are 42 days old when they go to a gas chamber in the UK for their body parts? Did you know that? They're called broiler chickens. They're grown so fast that their legs snap, they have heart failure, organ failure. We've investigated chicken farms, and you see them dead on their backs all in these big barns. Free range is an absolute lie for this situation. Free range just means you're not in a cage. They put 15,000 of these birds in one big barn, cram them in there, and that's their life for 6 weeks until they go to a gas chamber. Piglets at 6 months old, when they're born, in farrowing crates here in the UK still being used, when they're born and they're taken away from their mum at 6 months old, they go inside of a gas chamber too. Go and watch Pignorant to find out the truth behind the pig industry. Go and see what happens in places like Pilgrim's Pride in Cranswick. We've been in there. My friend Joey Armstrong, he's gone in and exposed them. Go and see that. Did you know that male chicks in the egg industry go inside of a blender at 1 day old? It's a big open blender, but they don't call it a blender, they call it a macerator. Because if they called it a blender, it would highlight the horrific violence that happens to the most innocent. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, guys. 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to this conversation while we're here. And 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. We're going to switch here. I'm going to give you over to Mel for a minute. My voice is going a bit already. Here's Mel.
Yeah, awesome, thank you. Yeah, so guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, number 2 in the chat if you are open-minded but not vegan yet, and number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. Today we're outside of a slaughterhouse. Behind me, they are stabbing animals in the throat behind me right now. Mother cows from the dairy industry and from the beef industry. Mother cows and all cows in the dairy industry all go to slaughter. I used to think cows eat grass and produce milk. I didn't realise that cows only produce milk because they're mums. Okay, so that's what's happening behind me. When the farmer no longer makes profit from those animals, he sends them to a slaughterhouse, he betrays them. Look, on number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. Number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. Now, you may not know what happens behind these gates of absolute hell, but we do. We do, that's why we're here, not to clash with you, but we're here to put pressure on these disgusting places that stab animals in the throat and to show you guys the reality. Double tap that screen, guys. Please subscribe to the channel as well. But you double tapping, commenting, sharing, liking, it really helps get the algorithm out so more people can see the reality. Therefore, more people go vegan and animals stop being oppressed for them. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 if you love animal abuse and murder. Now, good people are paying for bad things and they don't even know. I used to be a lot like some of you in the chat who are saying I love animals, but I'm a number 2. That was me as well. My entire life I loved animals. I loved them so much. I love my dogs and animals more than humans. But I was consuming animals. Now I was just disconnected. I didn't see like the victim behind like a chicken burger and a sandwich. I didn't see the reality. Therefore I just ate a burger. I saw a burger like I see like an apple. I didn't realise the victim, the oppression behind this. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. Number 3s, I'm sure, number 1s and number 2s would all agree you should be put in prison if you're number 3. It's not normal to be a number 3. Normal people are number 2s, but who don't know the reality. And then normal people, when you know the reality, are number 1s. They're vegans. They just don't understand. Most people are drinking cow's milk. Now, you're not a baby cow. And it's not your fault you're drinking cow's milk, but they put a lot of money into profits. They put a lot of money into propaganda and brainwashing to make you pay for something that isn't even meant for you. Guys, double tap that screen. Subscribe to the channel. I'm at a slaughterhouse today.
What are people going to see here today?
Yeah, so today the reason I keep looking this way is because trucks will be arriving from my left-hand side. And today you'll see mother cows from the dairy industry and the beef industry today. Then what will happen is they'll get taken into this horrible place behind me where they're going to get stabbed in the throat. We then will show you inside of the lairage from here because they'll have to open the lairage like they did this morning. And we'll show you the victims.
Fuck off.
We'll show you the victims. So we've had a lot of support today. We just had a man baby drive past. I'm just spouting nonsense. That's the number 3, guys. That's the number 3s. Those who are like spouting nonsense and putting meat emojis in the comments and saying animal abuse and murder is absolutely fine, you should be put in prison. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but don't know the industry. And number 3 in the chat for those people who should be put in prison for what they do to animals.
What animals are being brought inside here today?
So dairy cows will be going in here today. So last week we were actually outside another facility where we witnessed baby cows, baby 2-week-old little baby cows from the dairy industry being killed, being murdered inside a facility. They were babies from the dairy industry. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. I'm at a slaughterhouse today. They're killing mother cows today. They're killing beef cows. These animals will go into a lairage, like a holding area, and then they'll get taken into the kill floor and they'll be stabbed in the throat. This is what happens for dairy, for flesh, all animal products.
Renee, thank you so much for your super thanks again. Renee has put, can you recommend some resources for going vegan today and not knowing where to begin with food, clothing, cleaning supplies, etc.? in the link in the description is Challenge 22. So maybe talk about
Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much, Renee. Great point. So anyone who is thinking about making changes for the animals, please go to our link in the description. We've got Challenge 22. You get a mentor to help you to go vegan for free, okay? These people are just led by passion. You've got dietitians in there, nutritionists in there who will help you. It's really easy. Don't forget, you can also go onto Google and say, hey, I need a meal plan, or ChatGPT, I need a meal plan for being vegan. Please write me a meal plan. Where can I get vegan shoes? Just Google it. Our shoes are Skechers. Skechers have basically 90% of their stuff now is now vegan. But what I would recommend that you do to start with is go to the description in our live today and watch Dominion. Watch Dominion. Find out your why. Why you need to go vegan is so important, because otherwise you don't have the motivation if you don't know, and then how comes afterwards. So yeah, thank you so much.
What turned you vegan?
The dairy industry turned me vegan. So our amazing friend now called Joey Carbstrong, he's an animal rights activist and investigator. He did a video debating the dairy industry. Guys, before I continue, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. What I saw, he was debating someone about the dairy industry, and I remember thinking, what the hell is there to debate about the dairy industry? Cows just eat grass and produce milk. And the reality was very different from what I thought. He explained how mother cows have to be forced pregnant. He explained how they carry their baby for 9 months just like a human. He explained how every single male that mother cow gives birth to is called a waste product, and they're sent to a slaughterhouse. Last week, we saw those babies with our own eyes last week going into a slaughterhouse. And then I saw the mother cow inside one of these hellhole facilities.
Okay, guys.
And I went vegan on the spot.
Truck coming.
Yes, my camera went down.
So sad. So sad. Right, I'm going to try and capture them being offloaded. Bear with me, guys. Let me just get this up here.
Let's get the other camera up.
Just get the camera up there.
It bent down. I'm not sure what I got. I'll have a look.
Okay.
Let's get the live up so you can see this.
Okay, guys, what's just happened here? This truck that's just come past, this is full of cows. These cows have come here today to be executed for optional products like cheese, milk, chocolate, milk in your tea. That breast milk was intended for their babies, not for you. It wasn't a product to be bargained with. It wasn't a profit margin commodity. It was their breast milk for their babies. There could also be beef cows on here. I don't like using the word beef cow because they're not a beef cow, they're a cow. But they were born into the beef industry, and the beef industry exploits them for their body parts, whereas the dairy industry exploits them for their secretions. So guys, as you witness this, you're going to witness in a minute these cows being walked off for their last time. Let me see. I don't want to zoom in too much because sometimes you can't see it.
That's actually pretty perfect view right now.
I think this is going to be a good shot.
Oh.
Right, I'm going to focus on the shot.
Yeah.
I'm going to let Mel talk you through what's going on.
Yeah, so guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, number 2 in the chat if you are open-minded, and number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. Wow, just a super chat. People are disgusting on here. Don't be a number 3, be a number 1. Number 1s are people who defend animals. If you're a number 2, then you're maybe someone who's never understood the industry and you don't know the reality. And I want to stress that that's not your fault. We're not here to judge you. You don't know. How can you change if you don't know? We're here as people who have seen and do know, and we have a duty to educate those who haven't seen yet. It's not your fault you don't know, but please, from today, hold yourself accountable, because if you're not vegan, these beautiful, beautiful animals are going inside here today for you personally. For you personally. If you pay for animal products, they supply. So you demand, they supply. The moment this ends is when you go vegan and stop paying for it. It's all about supply and demand. Because those are talking and stuff and they're like shouting. So in a minute, guys, what you will see is this truck driver, there you go, taking them back down here, and you'll now see these victims, these slaves, in my opinion, going into this absolute killing facility. These poor animals that you're about to see here will go in, into a place of hell with knives in these people's hands, and those knives will be stabbed into those babies' throats. For what? A sandwich you didn't need? For breast milk intended for their babies that you don't need? There is no necessity to do this. There is no justification to do this. If you live vegan, defend the animals. Normal people are vegan. Normal people. These animals have come from these disgusting farms. They're laughing at the cameras thinking, oh, the Steve truck. Oh. So much happening right here now. Hopefully we'll be able to see them coming off before the other truck gets there. Yeah, they don't want to open the gate now for this one.
Wow, that truck's really shaking. Why is that truck shaking so much?
Because they're afraid.
Two trucks have just turned up, guys, at the same time. One truck's rushed in and gone around the corner. This truck here, I can't be certain, but it looks like they're struggling to get any cows off. I can't see my shot very well. It looks like they're struggling to get cows off. The truck was really, really shaking. Quite often in the dairy industry, you get what's known as downed dairy cows, where they're absolutely exhausted and they can't stand. Sometimes they have to goad them to get them up, to make them walk to their deaths.
Yeah.
Another truck here waiting to go in, but they don't want to open the gate because we're here with the cameras.
The second truck I've just seen, I captured some dairy cows in there. Mother cows from the dairy industry. The other truck's coming, they're just gonna...
Oh, look at her. These poor babies. They've committed no crimes, literally committed no crimes. Look at them, helpless, absolutely helpless. They don't want to die today. Their life to them is just as important as your life is to you.
Shameful, shameful, how shameful. Disgusting humans who do this, disgusting humans. You're not human if you do this. Disgusting people.
They're going to block the view.
Yeah.
All right.
Renee, thank you so much for your kind super thanks. But I'm not sure if trolls think this is an exchange of opinions, but people go vegan because no one has yet managed to justify doing this to animals, or maybe they are scared.
Listen, Joe, grab the... Another truck, guys, another truck. Hit screen record. Yeah, they're going to go down the road. They're going to go down the road and come back.
Maybe I'll see where they go then.
They're going to go down the road. Guys, 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation, and 3 if you don't care about animals. We're here today to show you the reality and the truth behind this evil industry.
That's the kind of things they do to try and stop people seeing the animals. All we're trying to do is just film the animals. We're not trying to break in there. We're just trying to film those victims going into this hellhole. Oh, Steve, they've unloaded.
Look, I predict what's going to happen. This truck's going to come out. He's not washing his truck down. So that truck's going to be turned around and come back. Look how sadistic and sick these people are. Look at the cow horns on his dashboard. That was someone's skull, it was someone's head. How sadistic and sick can you be? Dropping cows off to be stabbed to death with cow horns.
What the hell?
You shouldn't be doing that. You're scaring the animals. That's causing extra alarm during distress.
Oi! Oi! Tell him to not beep, you scumbags! Oi! Tell him to not beep. What haulage truck is he? What haulage truck is it? Forget his name. Stressing the animals out even more. Livestock Transport Sussex. Maybe they need a phone call.
On that screen, it says back British farming.
Disgusting.
It says back British farming on the skull of a cow. That's disgusting. Guys, one in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation, and 3 if you don't care about animals. Guys, we're outside of a slaughterhouse right now and it's absolutely going off. There's trucks and trucks and trucks of animals turning up. Security don't know what to do. The trucks don't know where to go. This guy in that truck who's just backed in there, he wanted to leave, but security wouldn't open the gate and let him out. The truck on the right is now offloading sentient beings, these delightful, darling cows, these beautiful cows who are like big puppies, dropping them off to be executed for an optional product. Right, I'm going to hand you back to Mel with the sign here. Yeah, I'm going to keep my head on a swivel for that truck coming back.
Yeah, if I go this side, then I can keep looking that way. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet. And number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. That disgusting person, that disgusting lorry driver who's driving those poor animals to their death has the audacity to then park up here and beep, scare those poor cows. They're not supposed to do that. None of this is supposed to be happening. The fact that he's causing more alarm and distress. There's been FSA breaches here as well. These people do not care about animals. It's time this ends. It's time you guys go vegan. This is a slaughterhouse. Double tap that screen, subscribe. Number 1 in the chat if you are an animal rights activist, if you're vegan and you love animals. Number 2 in the chat if you're a bit confused right now, if you don't know what happens in these industries, but you care about animals, you're just a normal person who doesn't know yet, and you're number 2. Number 3 in the chat, if you're a scumbag person who drives these poor animals into this slaughterhouse, if you're someone who farms these animals and commits premeditated murder, you should be put in prison for what you do.
For the chat who's just turning up, where are we? What's just happened?
It's been hectic.
The last 10 minutes.
So this is a slaughterhouse. They've just had a truck come in. They zipped that gate across really fast so we couldn't film the animals. That's all we're trying to do today, guys, is film the victims so you guys can see the eyes of those victims. Then the second truck come in, went straight in, zoomed straight in. Then another truck without animals in was waiting outside because they don't care about those ones if they don't have animals in. They only care about the not being transparent, guys. And then there's another one that came who didn't turn in, who went down there. So now I'm looking that way and that way to see if that one comes back as well.
I think this is a genuine question from Super Thanks. So thank you, Ivy, for your super thanks and your question. Ivy's put, if animal farming is abolished, what is your proposed solution for the existing, they've put livestock, I'm not going to say livestock, what's your position to do with the existing animals, basically?
Yeah, thank you for your question. So the world won't go vegan overnight. It will be a gradual shift. So at the moment, the demand is here, and farmers force animals into existence to meet that demand. When the demand drops, so does forcing the animals into existence. These animals don't just breed for the sake of breeding. Farmers force pregnancy onto the animals. So then when this goes down and down and down, because the world will then be kind, and we won't have animal disgusting farmers in this world, we'll have so many sanctuaries that those animals can go to. What's happening there? Someone behind me.
The security, big thumbs up to like everyone.
They're absolute
they're behind there, just like they're having the best day at work. It's like they almost work at like, I don't know, like some happy place.
They're cowards. Like, they go into a crowd of other workers and they're like, yeah, this is what we've done. They're big baby cowards. Double tap that screen, guys. Subscribe. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. Behind me in these trucks is victims from the dairy industry, mother cows from the dairy industry. I managed to get my camera in that second truck and I saw mother cows from the dairy industry who are waiting to go into a lairage to be murdered today. They're going to be stabbed in the throat because people are drinking cow's milk intended for her baby. They killed her baby. If her baby's a male, they murder her baby. They took them to a slaughterhouse. Six male calves every single hour gets taken to a slaughterhouse. 200 male calves every single day get taken to a slaughterhouse because you're drinking the breast milk intended for her. Sweet little babies the size of a Labrador dog. These cows are like big puppies. If you've ever spent time around cows, they are like sweet, big puppies who just want to give love and affection and cuddle with you guys. Number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. Number 3 if you love animal abuse and murder. And number 2 if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. All the vegans, spam this chat now with green hearts. for those victims behind me right now. This is a murder house. It's a slaughterhouse, but in my opinion, it's premeditated murder. Every farmer knows what they're doing. They know they are forcing these animals into existence purely. The only reason is to kill them for profit, for money. That's the only reason. Don't you dare believe the farmers' lives. The farmers' lie of we love our animals. Don't you dare believe humane slaughter. Don't you dare believe that the RSPCA is for the animals. They make money off the animals. Piglets die inside these CO2 gas chambers of hell. They burn from the inside out. They burn from the inside out. If anyone on here is against halal slaughter, kosher slaughter, well, if you're not vegan, it's all the same. It's all the same. Coward, all right. Coward, man, baby, coward. Someone just was saying something and still was going over.
They call you out, but when you walk over to them, they run away.
Yeah, you good for a bit?
Pathetic little man, baby. Probably still breastfeeding from cows.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots. Guys, one in the chat if you're vegan, two in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to that conversation, and three if you don't care about animals. We're outside of a slaughterhouse right now. This for the animals is absolutely life and death. For you, it's optional. For you, you can think about it, but for them, the last time that they opened their eyes today was the last time. And why? Because the industry dictated that today was the last time that their heart would beat, their eyes would look, their brain, their mind would hope. They've come from some of the most horrific farms potentially as well. We've investigated dairy farms and I've seen dairy farms all over. So I always think when I'm here, maybe today when they got taken off of them farms, did they feel like today was their liberation day? Did they feel like they were going somewhere better? But no, where did they end up? They ended up in a slaughterhouse. Once you go past this green barrier for them, the only way out is chopped up in a refrigerated lorry for products that are optional like cheese, chocolate and milk.
Mitchell, thank you so much for your kind super thanks and little emoji. Also, there's another super thanks from Ivy. Do you support the concept of lab-grown meat? One small sample could produce essentially unlimited meat and render the farming industry defunct. Basically destroy the farming industry.
Yeah, look, if lab-grown meat can be done in a way where no animals are exploited and harmed and killed, and it can save billions and billions and billions of animals, and it can end what happens to animals, absolutely. If you can take a fallen feather from a chicken and then produce chicken meat for people who really are a number three, then yeah, good, because no animals are going to be slaughtered for it. Absolutely. If it stops what happens to the animals, if it ends the animals going inside slaughterhouses and being exploited, absolutely. If you are number three, I want you to know that you are in the minority of the population of the world. Now, what I mean by that, the majority may be a number two. Non-vegans may be the majority, but at least they're a number two non-vegan. They're just open-minded, but they haven't been told the truth. The people putting the troll comments and the troll emojis, you're a number three, you're different. You're anti-vegan, you're in the small minority that thinks this is absolutely acceptable. Where good people with compassion and a heart see what happens here, they go from a 2 to a 1 really, really quickly. Guys.
The security are such weak cowards.
Yeah.
They're disgusting.
That's right. We're going to focus on the animals today, and that's why we're here for the animals. Now, we got our heads on swivels, guys, because trucks are coming left, right, and centre, and the slaughterhouse don't want you, the consumer, to see the victims. This is why. This gate behind me usually is on an electric button, right? But as soon as activists turn up the cameras, they have to put it onto manual and they run it because it opens and closes faster if they push and pull it. Now, the reason being is because they don't want you to see the animals. They don't want you to see the trail of piss and shit that comes into this slaughterhouse where the animals are in fight and flight mode. They're so scared and petrified. As the trucks turn in, all their shit and piss falls out the back of it because for the last God knows how many hours, they've been stood in a truck shaking with fear, wide open eyes, wondering where am I going? Guys, please double tap the screen. Please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification. We go to slaughterhouses every single week to bring you, the consumer, the reality that the industry don't show you.
Someone said, oh, if I was to go vegan, I don't want to eat just salad.
Vegans don't just eat just salad. This is another misconception. You think that vegans just eat grass all day. Vegans eat seitan, tempeh, tofu if you're health conscious, but go and get a vegan Beyond Burger. Go and get Vivera vegan chicken. Go and get vegan sausages. You haven't got to change any of your dietary taste pleasures. You just change the fact that when you pay for your products over the counter, whether you've sent someone to a slaughterhouse or not. You don't have to just eat grass. Guys, go to the description in this live stream. Go to challenge 22. If you are a number 2 that wants to be vegan, but you're unsure about what you're going to eat to get the taste pleasure sorted, then go to challenge 2 and ask them all the questions. It's a free mentor for 22 days. You just put your email address in, they send you all the information that you need. But I want to bring the focus back to the why you should be vegan and how you should be vegan. When you focus on why should I be vegan? Because I'm against animals being exploited for me. That is always the reason why I'm vegan. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to that conversation. 3 if you don't care about animals. Everybody double tap the screen, like this live stream, and please subscribe and hit the bell so you can see other slaughterhouses that we go to.
Someone said vegans are weak.
Vegans are weak. Vegans are some of the strongest people that I know. Do you know it takes true strength to stand up against an injustice, even though you may be the minority? Vegans are obviously quite a lot of the time given this portrayment that vegans are weak. But you stand up against an injustice when you're in a minority. You stand up in a room and say this is wrong when you know the majority of the room are going to argue back with you. You stand strong on your ethics and morals when you know it's the right thing to do, even though you're going to face ostracization, ridicule, and a bit of mockery. Vegans are strong.
The strongest people I ever met.
It takes strength to know what we know and continue.
Yeah.
100%.
Angel River just put, if you hate meat so much, why do you make your food taste like it?
Because, like we're just saying, for the number 3s, if growing your meat in a lab is what you want to do, do it. If you want to get a burger that tastes like the body of a cow, then do it. This is for the number 3s. The number 2s who do care, you don't worry about it, right? Taste pleasure is never a justification to keep perpetuating this violence to these childlike, vulnerable beings. It's just not good enough. To say I like the taste of meat and that's why I'm going to continue to do it is not a good enough justification. So what these companies have done, for example, Beyond Burger, they have replicated that taste pleasure and said, well, there you go. There's a Beyond Burger that tastes good. Now what's your excuse? Now what are you going to say as to why it's okay to continue to exploit these vulnerable animals? Because you're running out. There is no excuses. There is no justification, no excuses. 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to that conversation, and 3 if you don't care about animals. If you don't know where we are right now, guys, this is a slaughterhouse. This is an ABP slaughterhouse where they're killing cows, beef cows, dairy cows. Again, I don't like beef cows or dairy cows, they're cows. But one's born into an industry that exploits their body parts, one's born into an industry that exploits their secretions. If you are someone with compassion and empathy, if you're a number 2, you may not be vegan, but you don't like what happens, then go to the description, go and watch Pignorant, go and watch Dominion, go and see the realities as what we saw, why we changed. Because when you know better, you can do better.
Ivy, but while I think you're a bit alarmist, I do believe that you have a reasonable position with a practical outlook. Thanks for answering my questions. Enjoy the cash. Have a drink on me. Thank you, Ivy, so much for being here, for being open-minded. And yeah, we are very passionate because we're witnessing right now cows being stabbed in the throat. So yeah, thank you for being here and being open-minded.
Yeah, Ivy, thanks for being here. And yeah, but we may be coming across alarmist, but because it is.
Yeah.
This really, really is. I can't get the situation over to you enough. The severity of the situation, especially for the individuals inside here today, really is alarming. For the ones who are behind me right now in these trucks, it is already too late. They are already going to be killed today. There's nothing that we can do to stop them. So the alarm bell has to be hit. This is an emergency. This is the biggest emergency that the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
80 to 90 billion land animals every single year executed for optional products. 2 to 3 trillion sea animals executed every year for optional products. These products are not a necessity. Sorry. Guys, 1 in the chat. Spam the 1s if you're vegan. Spam the 2s if you're not vegan but you're open to that conversation. And 3s if you don't care about animals. We're not here to clash with you guys. I want to make that other point again as well. If you've just joined the live, our intention and objection is not to clash with you and to butt heads. Oh, it stinks.
You all right?
We want to educate you and converse because the objective is to defend the animals. Arguing with you over silly points doesn't do that. We need to turn your head against the industry that's lied to you. Do you know how many number 2s that become a number 1 all of a sudden direct their anger away from the vegans and towards the industry? You should be angry You should be angry at animal farmers. You should be angry at the RSPCA Assured Scheme. You should be angry at the Red Tractor. You should be angry at the humane washing and the lies.
John V has just gone vegan.
Amazing. There you go. Another vegan in the world. Well done, John. Thank you for being vegan for the animals. But we need to turn your anger towards the industries that have lied to you. How dare they make you feel like you have to drink cow's milk and exploit mother dairy cows? How dare they make you feel like you need to eat animals' bodies for protein and send defenseless, vulnerable, childlike animals to slaughterhouses to be executed? The reason why is because they profit off of it. Slaughtering animals, animal farming, isn't this, I don't know, this like service to the world.
Yeah.
It's not a service to the world. Animal farming and all this nonsense is not animal farmers servicing the world, doing something good. They're businesses. They are businesses. They're just like every other business. They focus on their bottom line and their profit margins. And when they don't match up, they do whatever it takes to increase the profit and to drop the bottom line. And they don't tell you these things. They literally feed this to you like it's a necessity that's humane. There's no such thing.
Max Ronson put, is vegetarian okay?
Thank you for your comment. Absolutely not. Vegetarians would still pay for animals to go to slaughterhouses. In fact, the dairy cows that are behind us right now being killed, they would have been sent inside here from vegetarians. The dairy industry, the egg industry, the leather industry, the wool industry, they are all co-products. They are all standalone industries. Them animals are executed for them exact reasons. So if you're a vegetarian and you still eat cheese and cow's milk, then you are sending animals to slaughter for them products. Now, if you're someone who's vegetarian because you care about animals and you believe that we should morally consider animals, then it's great news, because today's the day you found out you just go vegan and you truly do remove yourself from supporting that violence. And if that's the case, then right now, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you're a vegan. Put a 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to these conversations. And put a 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. 1, 2, and 3.
Someone just gave us a super thanks and put, it's such nonsense to say that if you are not vegan that you hate animals. I love animals but still eat meat.
I'm sorry, but that sentence doesn't exist.
Yep.
You cannot love animals and send them to be killed. You can't do it. It's just it just doesn't work.
It's just fact.
I love children, but I send them off to be trafficked. Doesn't work. I love animals, but I send them to slaughterhouses to eat them when I don't need to. It doesn't work. When people say this, it's to reassure themselves or to comfort themselves. It's to lie to themselves, to keep their indoctrination, to keep the humane washing on. But the reality is, it's super simple. You cannot say that I love animals and be non-vegan.
Yeah, otherwise everyone who gets married will then find that their husband or wife is killed in a few months if you really love them. If that's love.
Stinks.
You're right. Number 1 in the chat, guys, if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. It's your choice that you can either make excuses or take action.
Yeah. Guys.
What's happened in the last few minutes?
Yeah,
We're waiting for
maybe come back to there, and I want to explain what happened with the FSA. Do you want to stay there? Guys, in this slaughterhouse behind me here, the FSA came in June 2025, and they ran an audit. That audit resulted in a general satisfactory result, which meant that the FSA should have returned within 3 months. But when we all went through the data sets on the FSA's website, still there has been no update to them breaches. 6 major non-compliances, and how many major non-compliances were there?
Do you mean minor?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, minor. How many minors?
16.
16 minors. The FSA has not reported on any changes. Why are animals still being brought here? Of course, we're not here from a welfarist position at all. We're here for an animal rights abolitionist position. But why are animals being brought here? Question the system that lies to you guys. We're trying to show you the truth and the reality. We haven't got to spend billions of pounds lying to you. These industries do. These industries have to spend billions and billions and billions lying to you. All we do is we put a camera up to show you the truth. Guys, 1 in the chat if you're vegan.
Oh, he's
2
that
in the chat if
scumbag.
you're not vegan but you're open to that conversation. 3 if you don't care about animals.
Gross.
Don't back British
That's
farming.
disgusting.
Avoid British farmers. British farmers who farm animals, should never trust them. They lie to the consumer. They humane wash the consumer. They will never tell you the reality. He'll never, ever, ever tell you that the dairy cows inside there were mums. He'll never tell you that their babies were taken away. They'll never tell you what they actually do in these facilities. If you want to see, go to Joey Carlstrong's channel. Go and look at the investigations. Go onto our channel, our main channel. Look at our investigations.
So
this truck now is now empty.
So that other truck now will probably come. We keep an eye on to the left. Yeah, so much for farmers love their animals, right? Yeah, beeping and distressing the animals whilst they're here, even more so before they go in to be stabbed in the throat.
Yeah, here, let's swap over.
From that angle so I can see that end as well. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. Yeah, that was a scumbag animal farmer, lorry driver, back British farmer with the skull of a cow at the front of the truck, beeping, causing more alarm and distress in this facility for those poor animals about to be stabbed into the throat. How disgusting are these people? Don't be like that. Don't be a number 3. Don't be a number 3 animal abuser scumbag. Number 2s, if you love animals and you're not vegan, then by your actions, the animals think that you hate them. Number 1s are those people who are normal, who defend animals, who don't oppress them in any way. We're here today outside of a slaughterhouse, but we are vegan. That means we are against all oppression towards animals. The last few days, Scotland and Wales have both banned greyhound racing now, because vegans are against that, okay? But the majority of the public are also against that as well, but they're not vegan yet. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, and number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. So vegans are also against animal testing, animal use in any way, prisons for animals such as zoos, horse racing. Cheltenham races, 4 horses died. How disgusting for human greed, human gambling. Humans are disgusting. It's horrific, guys. Please defend the animals. Behind me right now is a slaughterhouse. They kill mother cows inside this facility. They kill beef cows from the beef industry. But like we were saying before, they're not beef cows and they're not dairy cows. They are just cows. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. And vegans, spam with those green hearts for the animals. There's animals behind me here. Inside this lairage. And for inside a lairage, you'll see it's like a waiting room for the animals, the dungeon for the animals. In each dungeon, they have separate areas. They have a dungeon for these cows, and it will say on the front, Farmer Joe, 20 cows, and they're sat there waiting to be murdered. The next one, the next dungeon of cows, Farmer Dickhead, whatever his name is, and it's hell. And then they wait, and then they get pushed onto a kill floor to be stabbed in the throat, and that farmer just leaves them here, goes back to the farmer, makes other individuals pregnant again, forces pregnancy onto them, and takes their babies away. This is hell. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet, number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. So this isn't a truck of animals, or he didn't bring animals in here, but you can see inside this facility here, the truck there is being washed, and over there is where the skins will be as well. Yeah, all the skins over there being dealt with over there. It's hell. This is a slaughterhouse, guys. In the UK, they have FSA breaches at this disgusting facility. It's a hellhole for the animals. Look at these disgusting people with these gates and thinking it's funny, laughing at animal abuse and murder. How dare these people work at this facility? How dare they work at this facility? It's an absolute hellhole for the animals. Here. Sorry?
Got a super thanks here.
Yeah.
Let me just read it out.
Thank you for your super thanks,
from
guys.
From Ivy again. Ivy, thank you for your super thanks. Ivy's question, do you believe in symbiotic farming, such as a few chickens on your land, providing infertile eggs and kept in a natural environment with no need to kill?
No, so the whole thank you for your question and your super thanks to start with. So the whole time we see animals as a use and a resource for us is the moment that they are exploited and used. Sorry, they're just
I'll
getting
get ready
on the
with
gate.
they look like they're ready to run a gate.
Yeah, they are.
There's a truck going to be coming. I'll get the camera out. I've got a
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah, guys. So I'm just going to be explaining that whilst we're just waiting for this truck that I think will be. Yeah, I can see it's coming. It's coming now.
Yeah.
Guys, screen record this.
So they've been waiting. Which side are you going to go? Guys, look down here. This truck here has been waiting down the road or circling the block. And now look, security are here, ready to run this gate as fast as they come. These trucks have phoned ahead. So now look, as soon as this truck's coming down the road, you watch this. Which side are you going to go on, that side or this side?
I'm going to go this side. I usually go that
I'm
side.
going to just
So.
film everyone. Look at these scumbags here getting ready to run this gate for these animals.
Number 1 in the chat, guys, if you're vegan. Number 2, if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3, if you love animal abuse and murder.
This is their last drive, bless them.
Right, so they're going to run this truck in really fast. Oh, it's so high. I'm sorry, babies. Disgusting. These disgusting
Well done,
people.
well done, well done, you scumbags, for running them animals in there. Yeah, the world will know what you do.
Absolute freaks. You're
Yeah,
freaks.
go on, run round the corner and hide. Run round the corner and hide. Cowards.
What a freak show. Call yourself a man baby, more like it. Disgusting people. All right, let's get the unloading.
Yeah. Oh, no, the truck's in the way.
Truck's in the way. So they're trying to be strategic now, are they?
Truck's in the way.
All right, guys, let me just
too high.
see if I captured any animals there.
Guys, 1 in the chat if you're vegan, 2 in the chat if you're not vegan, but you're open to that conversation, and 3 in the chat
We'll have
you
a
don't
look
care
together.
about animals.
We'll have a look together. It was really high. Oh.
Tell you what, just get in the shade maybe.
Beef cows in there.
Here we go. I'll keep an eye on the gate. If you use the camera to show everyone,
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye. Got it. That's it.
Oh, poor babies. These are the individuals who've just gone inside here right now. The truck was so high. I had to like hug the truck to get the camera high enough. Evil, evil. This is why we're so passionate. This is why we're so passionate. This is why we're outside these places as much as we possibly can. Because there's real victims. They're real victims. They're just like you and your family. They're just like children. That's who they like the most, is children. That's who they are. They're victims going inside here today to be killed. They did nothing wrong. They were just born into a body, just like you were. You didn't choose which body you were born into, just like them. If you have the mindset that you think it's okay to oppress others purely because they look different to you, then that's a racist mindset. It's a speciesist mindset. And mindsets like that have created mass murder. And this is the biggest mass murder the world's ever seen.
Jim Bob says, I eat meat, but it's very bad what they do to them.
Please stop. Please be vegan. Thank you for saying it's very bad what they do to them, because obviously you have compassion in your heart. Use that compassion inside of your heart. That's your conscience speaking to you. Don't ignore that, because for them it's life and death. For you it's very easy to be like, oh, well, I do eat animals. I did as well, by the way. But the moment I saw, I held myself accountable, and I was like, I will promise the animals I will never be the reason another animal is suffering and screaming for their life inside of a slaughterhouse or a zoo or anywhere. I made a promise to them. And I promised them as well that I now dedicate my life to helping them, because I owe them. We all owe them with our lives, because we used to oppress them. There are victims who have gone inside these hellhole facilities for us personally, before we're vegan. Please do the right thing today. Be vegan for the animals. Watch Dominion on YouTube and see the reality for yourself. See the reality so you can see It's so easy to be vegan, guys. You literally can eat everything you did before, but without the victim. So instead of cow's milk, any plant milk. There's like 20 plant milks. They may taste different to start with, but always keep the animals in mind or you'll never turn back on the animals. There's vegan cheese, there's vegan shoes, like these Skechers. Nothing really changes for you. Just double check some ingredients and have Google and just double check ingredients and stuff. Sorry, people were like shouting and stuff, put me off there. Guys, this is a slaughterhouse. Please double tap that screen. Number 1 in the chat. Write number 1 in the chat now if you're vegan. Write number 2 in the chat now if you are open-minded but you're not vegan yet. And number 3 if you love animal abuse and murder. For any number 2s, if you have changed and gone vegan today, please let us know if you've upgraded to a number 1. Your decision today, right? Right now, if you're number 2, you're this side. And animals are going to slaughter for you, okay? Every single day, it's supply and demand. You can just go to this side where no animals are slaughtered or oppressed on your behalf. Please defend the animals. It's a real black and white thing. It's not rocket science. It's easy to understand. Not vegan, you pay for animal abuse and exploitation. Vegan, you don't pay for that. And then you must defend them, okay? It's like if you were to see a dog and a dog was being kicked and beaten up in the street, I hope every one of you would go and defend that dog. Now that's someone who steps in, because we've seen what happens inside these places. We're now trying to defend the animals. We're now trying to step in front of that dog, that cow, and say, guys, stop hurting these animals, let them live. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan, number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but you're not vegan yet, and number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder.
Many weird comments of you can love animals but eat them. How weird is that mindset?
Yeah, there's so many people in that chat saying this today. But maybe they just don't know yet. Maybe they just don't know. The fact they say that they love animals. Hear them saying shut up and stuff in there. Disgusting scumbags.
Yeah.
We'll shut up. We'll shut up when they stop killing animals.
What turned you vegan?
The dairy industry. When I saw inside of a slaughterhouse, I saw a mother cow from the dairy industry having her throat cut open. It's horrific. She was being bolt gunned in the head and then slashed in the throat. She could feel everything. She was afraid. There was blood everywhere. There was 2 people stabbing her in the throat over and over. Then she got picked up by a back leg, hung upside down to be bled out. It's disgusting. It's no different. Halal kosher standard is all the same. It's hell on earth for these poor animals.
Someone said they'll still die even if I stop though.
No, it's all about supply and demand. They wouldn't be born into existence. Okay, you will still die. You will still die. Doesn't mean I should murder you. Okay, just because someone will still die doesn't mean we should murder them. Okay, those people who murder individuals get put in prison because it's a crime. It's a crime. Before legality come into place, it was a moral crime. So this is a moral crime. This will be a legal crime down the line. Every person who works in these places, anyone who oppresses animals, will be put in prison for what they do. Morals, legality will catch up with morals when good people make a change today. So if you think, oh, they're going to die anyway, well, why aren't you killing the rest of the population then? They need you to stop. They need you to stop. The fact is, when you go vegan, 200 animals every single year are not put through these gates of hell because you've slowed that demand down. When that demand gets to a certain point, this ends. We crumble these places when you stop paying for them to do this to animals, because the whole time you're paying, they do this to animals on your behalf personally.
Why isn't the industry transparent with the consumer?
Yeah, they're not transparent with you, and this is why we say for those number 2s, it's not your fault that you don't know. They're not transparent because they know that people's hearts are actually good. People are compassionate. They do have a conscience. When people see an animal being hurt or killed or stabbed or a dog being kicked, there's uproar, right? Everyone's like, what the hell? Like, stop, you defend them. Now, if they showed you inside of a gas chamber for pigs, for turkeys, for chickens, if they showed you inside of a slaughterhouse, standard, halal, kosher, all of them, every person with a brain cell and a heart goes vegan immediately. Immediately. Therefore, they will crumble. They, in fact, put so much money into things like the RSPCA Assured scheme. You know what the RSPCA Assured do? They stamp gas chambers with approval. Check out Pignorant on Amazon Prime. You'll see the corruption of the RSPCA Assured. CO2 gas chambers for piglets. 6 months old, these piglets get forced into these dungeons. They then get lowered into CO2. They burn from the inside out. These piglets screaming for their lives. In fact, I've even seen footage of pigs breaking off their own legs, trying to escape. I've seen them mutilate themselves for trying to escape this pit of hell. Shameful! How dare you! Shameful to work in this place. You can leave. Anyone making money from this industry is blood money. We're at a slaughterhouse today, guys. They're taking in behind me right now. There's been beef cows and dairy cows. Mother cows from the dairy industry are classed as a waste product when they can no longer produce enough milk, when they can no longer become pregnant, because mother cows only produce milk because they are mothers. The farmer forces pregnancy onto her. They force her. They put her in a cattle crush. If you don't know what a cattle crush is, it's a big cage that goes around the cows so they can't exit. He can't get out front ways, but the farmer has access to her back end. He then puts himself inside the cow. He puts her whole entire arm inside of that cow and makes her pregnant. He injects her with bull semen. How dare he? What disgusting weirdos animal farmers are. Scumbags, all of them. Every single animal farmer should be put in prison for that very act alone. Then, that mother cow carries her baby for 9 months just like your mother carried you. But if she gives birth to her baby, the farmer comes and kidnaps her baby. If they're a male, they get taken to a slaughterhouse like the one behind me at 2 weeks old. 6 male calves killed every single hour. If they're a female, they get taken and kidnapped from the mother still and put into an isolation booth away from the mum. They cry for their babies. They're extremely maternal animals. Guys, number 1 in the chat if you're vegan. Number 2 in the chat if you're open-minded but not vegan yet. And number 3 in the chat if you love animal abuse and murder. I'm at a slaughterhouse today where they kill those mother cows.
Another super thanks from Ivy. So Ivy, thank you for your super thanks. Ivy's put, last message. My philosophy differs, as I believe that there's room for symbiosis in hunting or codependent non-vegan. But I definitely advocate for making it unnecessary. I'll advocate as a Greens member.
Okay, so when you're saying about hunting and living in that way, it's not. Like, it's no different to Jeffrey Dahmer coming down the street now and shooting me in the head. And he was like, well, we're living symbiotically. It's no different. The thing is, people are treating animals as lower than us. They're not. They should be on the same level as rights, just a right to their own life. Yeah. We shouldn't be looking at others in that way, because that's why we had the Jewish Holocaust. That's why we had men thinking they're better than women. That's why we have white people thinking they're better than black people, or because of their race, colour or religion. That's the mindset. Now, the other thing we have though is where we just leave animals alone. Live in a kind way where we don't oppress any animals. That's your choice. It's as easy as that. For me, even before I was vegan, I used to hate hunters. But I used to pay for this. But I didn't realise hunting someone is no different to killing a human. It's no different. Whether you think, oh no, they're animals, they're humans, the reality is their life is just as important to them as your life is to you. Give them mercy, give them kindness, and leave them alone to live their life. It's not their fault they're born into that body. Just like how it's not your fault you're born into a human body. So use your freedom wisely, okay? You have the duty to defend. If you have freedom, we have the duty to defend and help those who are not free. I'm just going to switch over with Steve for a moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely good point. The minute that we view animals as a product, the minute we view what comes out of animals as a product, we've lost all hope and it's not become inhumane. Guys, we're outside of a slaughterhouse here in the UK. This is AVP Slaughterhouse. As you're coming in the room, put 1 in the chat if you're vegan, put 2 in the chat if you're not vegan but you're open to this conversation, and put 3 in the chat if you don't care about animals. Now, we're here today witnessing cows going inside here from the dairy industry and the meat industry. 2 different breeds of cows. One's exploited for their body parts. One is exploited for their secretions. Man, just walking from there to here, all I can smell is that metallic death smell from behind me. Because behind me right now, This is where animals are being killed. This is it. This is their layerage. This is their last moments. This is the last gate that they'll see as they come past us. Mel and myself will be the last people they see who will offer them any kind of compassion, kind words, or love. And they're going in here, guys, for optional products that you do not need. Now, you've been indoctrinated to believing this term humane slaughter. You've been indoctrinated to believing that it's necessary. We're here to show you the reality and the truth that it's not. Go into the description of this live stream and click on the investigations done by Joey Armstrong. Go and watch Pignorant. Go and watch the investigations done by the Farm Transparency Project over in Australia. But go and see the realities for yourself. Once you've seen them realities, and then you know, you can't unknow. Once you know the truth, you can't unknow it. And until you know the truth, you can't be held accountable. But you've seen us here today. You've heard what we're saying. You now can be held accountable because you now know the truth. You know the reality that when you buy animals' bodies or animals' products, you are directly sending an individual to a slaughterhouse. Once you've watched them documentaries and you have that accountability, I want you to click on Challenge 22. That's also in that link tree description. And by clicking on that link tree description and going into Challenge 22, you will get vegan support for 22 days. Any questions, help and advice you may need, someone will be there to be a free mentor for the whole time. But I want you to remember why vegan, why you should focus on being vegan. Because if you're not vegan at the moment, every individual animal that you're sending to a slaughterhouse is going in there personally for you. Your accountability is not removed from this violence. Your accountability of their death is not removed. The blood is on your hands if you're not vegan. And if you don't like that, if that makes you feel uncomfortable, simple thing to do is to be vegan. Guys, please subscribe to this channel. Please hit the bell notification because we go live at multiple locations in the UK throughout the week to bring you, the consumer, the reality that the industry don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that mothers are sent inside here a lot of the time pregnant with babies in their stomachs as they're being killed. They don't want you to know that piglets go to gas chambers at 6 months old. They don't want you to know the realities.
Just want to say this as well, there's jinx that just put only good vegans are the ones that don't preach at you.
What's that?
They put only good vegans are the ones that don't preach at you.
Don't preach to you? What you mean hold you accountable?
Yeah.
So vegans are okay as long as they don't make me feel bad from being non-vegan and paying for animals to be executed for my optional product. Of course, that's a statement by someone who doesn't want the mirror put up to them. They don't want to be held accountable. They're happy for people to be vegan because it doesn't affect them. But the minute you hold a mirror up and show me the hypocrisy, then I don't like it because now I feel uncomfortable because unless I make a change, I am now knowingly not a good person.
Yeah, it's weak.
Don't be that person. Be the person that does harness your compassion and empathy. Be the person who does care, and simply the baseline to be is be vegan. Guys, we will see you on the next live stream. Thank you to all the super thanks, all the vegans being in here, all the support from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so, so much, guys. We'll see you on the next one.